Have you ever thought about how giving money to your children before you pass could affect the way they view the world? We often think of inheritance as a gift, something that will make our children's lives easier or give them a head start. But what if that gift came with hidden emotional consequences? When you give away money or assets to your children too early, the emotions that follow aren't always the ones you expect. What seems like a generous act can sometimes lead to unintended strain and even resentment. Imagine you've worked hard your whole life to build up your savings and assets, and now you want to pass on some of that to your children while you're still around. It feels good, doesn't it? You get to witness their joy and perhaps ease some of their financial worries. But what happens when that financial gift is handed over too soon? Children may feel a sense of entitlement when they receive money before their parents pass. Instead of feeling grateful, they may start to take what you've given them for granted. It can also cause them to question their own worth or ability to achieve things on their own. They may come to expect more, creating a cycle of dependency rather than one of growth and self-reliance. What about the other side of the story? Picture this. You have multiple children, and you decide to give some of your wealth to one of them. While your intention may be to help, that gesture could lead to jealousy and conflict. Suddenly, one child might feel more entitled to their share, while the other feels neglected or left out. It's easy to see how small decisions can create cracks in relationships that last for years, perhaps even for generations. Have you ever witnessed a family get torn apart over something as simple as a gift or inheritance? It's heartbreaking, isn't it? Instead of bonding over shared memories, families can be divided over money, and the emotional fallout can last long after the wealth is gone. Here's another thought. When you give too much, too soon, what message does that send? Is it about the money, or is it about leaving a legacy of wisdom, love, and values? Prematurely handing over wealth can overshadow the true purpose of inheritance, passing down life lessons, family traditions, and shared experiences. Money might come and go, but the love, respect, and memories you leave behind have the potential to shape your family's future for generations to come. So what happens when we take a step back and reflect on these emotional impacts? We begin to realize that, as well-intentioned as it might be, early inheritance could harm the very thing we want to protect, our family's bond. But there are ways to manage this and avoid the pitfalls of handing over wealth prematurely. Let's explore how these financial gifts can impact not just the recipients, but also you, the giver. Before we continue, I'd love to hear from you. We're building a wonderful community here, and it's always nice to get to know one another. Where are you watching from today? Feel free to leave a comment below and share where you're joining us from. It's a great way for us to familiarize ourselves with each other. And if you're new here at Elderly Timeless Insights, we're so happy to have you with us. If you'd like to keep receiving more helpful tips and inspiring advice, simply hit the subscribe button and tap the bell for notifications. It's quick, easy, and ensures you won't miss any of the wisdom we share. When you decide to give money or assets to your children before passing, it might feel like you're offering a helpful gift, something to ease their burdens. However, what if this gesture unintentionally harms both their financial future and your own? Have you ever considered how giving away wealth prematurely might affect your own financial security in long term? While the intention behind giving is often generous, it's important to think about the consequences. One of the most significant issues is creating dependency. Imagine your child receiving a large sum of money today. They're grateful, perhaps even relieved. But over time, they may begin to rely on that wealth, using it as a crutch. Instead of developing their own financial independence, they may lean on the inheritance you've given them. How often have you seen families where the children, after receiving an early inheritance, become less motivated to manage their own finances? What was meant to be a helping hand might actually turn into a source of dependence. When you give money too soon, you take away the chance for your children to learn essential financial skills. They miss the valuable lessons that come with earning, saving, and managing their own wealth. How can we expect them to be financially responsible if we don't allow them to experience the journey themselves? Wouldn't it be more fulfilling to see your children succeed on their own terms, building their financial strength, rather than just handing them wealth? Another risk is the potential for mismanagement. If children are given money without understanding how to handle it, they may make poor financial decisions. Imagine the disappointment if the inheritance is spent recklessly, on luxuries or risky investments, leaving them worse off than before. This is a painful reality many parents face. A well-intended gift can turn into regret if the wealth isn't managed wisely. So, while giving money to your children may seem like a kind gesture, it's essential to think about the broader financial impacts. In the next section, we'll explore how premature inheritance can lead to legal complications and trust issues that could strain family relationships. Stay with us as we uncover how to protect your legacy. When it comes to inheritance, we often think about money and assets, but what about the legal side of things? Have you ever considered the complexities that arise when large sums are given away before you pass? The truth is, passing on wealth too early can create legal complications that might strain family relationships and lead to costly disputes. It's natural to want to give to your children when you can see they need it, but what if giving too much too soon sets the stage for confusion and conflict down the road? One of the first things to consider is the lack of clear legal documentation when money is given without a formal structure in place. Imagine you hand over a significant amount of money or property to one of your children without a will or trust. What if other children or family members feel they were left out or treated unfairly? Without proper legal documentation, these gifts could lead to misunderstandings. Siblings might argue over who received what and why, and what was meant to be a generous gift could become a source of bitterness and confusion. This is where setting up a trust or will becomes incredibly important. A well-organized trust or will ensures that everything is accounted for and that your wishes are clear. It helps prevent disputes by making the distribution of assets transparent, so your children know exactly what they are receiving and why. Think about this. If you create a trust, it can help you decide how and when your children will receive their inheritance, ensuring they're financially responsible when they do. You have the power to control the distribution of wealth and prevent any premature decisions that might cause harm. When wealth is handed out too soon, it can also raise questions about fairness. Not everyone may feel they're being treated equally, and this can lead to disagreements that last for years. A common issue arises when one child gets a substantial gift while others receive less, creating a sense of inequality. Even when the intention is to help, the lack of clarity can leave everyone feeling hurt and resentful. Wouldn't you rather know that everything is handled in a way that respects each child's needs and protects your family from unnecessary legal battles? Now that we've seen how premature inheritance can lead to legal complications, there's something even more critical we need to discuss. It's a hidden strain that affects not just the recipients, but you, the giver. This next part will reveal why the act of giving away wealth before your passing could affect you in ways you might never have expected. Stay with us as we uncover what's truly at stake. You've probably heard it said that giving is its own reward. But have you ever stopped to think about how giving away money or assets to your children before your time might affect you emotionally and financially? It's easy to focus on the benefits to your children, but what about the impact on you as the giver? Imagine this. You've worked hard your whole life, and now you're in a position where you can help your children. You want to ensure they're set up for success, and you want to ease any burdens they might face. But what happens after the gift is given? What are the emotional tolls that may start to show up long after the money is passed? One of the more subtle effects of giving premature inheritance is the guilt that often comes with it. Have you ever felt a sense of unease after handing over something valuable? Perhaps a small voice in the back of your mind wonders whether you gave too much too soon. This guilt can be especially strong if you feel uncertain about how your wealth will be used, or if you begin to question whether your children truly need it right now. It's a struggle that many parents face when they're unsure whether they're making the right decision. You want to help, but in doing so, you may start to worry, have I done enough for myself? What if I need this money later? Another emotional strain that many parents experience is the fear of losing control over their own future. It's hard to let go, isn't it? Even when your children are grown and independent, the thought of handing over too much too soon can feel like you're giving up some of your security. There's something deeply unsettling about knowing that the wealth you've built, your life's work, is no longer entirely in your hands. What if your own situation changes unexpectedly? What if you need that money for your own healthcare or future needs? The fear of running out of resources can create a lingering anxiety that overshadows what was meant to be an act of love. Giving away money too soon also makes you vulnerable. Have you ever experienced a time when you thought about your own future security and felt uncertain? Perhaps, in the excitement of giving, you didn't fully consider the risks to your own well-being. By giving away assets prematurely, you may unintentionally create a sense of vulnerability, both financially and emotionally. It's not just about money, it's about peace of mind. And that's something you deserve, especially in your later years. Now that we've seen how giving too much too soon can affect you, there's something even more critical we need to uncover. It's a consequence that might not be immediately obvious, but could change everything. Stay tuned as we explore the deeper, and sometimes unexpected, ways these decisions ripple through your family and future. As we've discussed, giving away wealth prematurely can come with emotional and financial consequences, both for you and your children. But don't worry, there are better ways to leave a meaningful legacy without the potential pitfalls. The key is to plan thoughtfully and wisely. What if you could still help your children, provide for them, and protect your legacy without risking family conflict or financial mismanagement? It's not just about what you give, but how and when you give it. One powerful alternative is creating a trust or a will. These tools help ensure that your wealth is passed on according to your wishes, without leaving room for misunderstandings or disputes. A trust, for example, can allow you to control how and when your children receive their inheritance, protecting them from poor decisions or financial dependency. You can set conditions that will help guide them responsibly. Have you ever thought about how a well-crafted trust could give you peace of mind, knowing that your wealth will be distributed in the way you intend? It's a way to protect your family and your legacy, while also giving your children the tools they need to manage wealth wisely when the time comes. Instead of giving large sums up front, consider taking the time to teach your children about money management. Teach them how to save, invest, and build wealth responsibly. After all, the best gift you can give them is not just money, but the knowledge to use it wisely. Think about it. How fulfilling would it be to see your children thrive, not because of an early inheritance, but because you equip them with the skills to succeed financially on their own? The lessons you pass down can be more valuable than any check or asset. If you want to give something now, consider gifting smaller amounts instead of large sums. This way, you can still provide support without jeopardizing your long-term security or creating dependency. Think about giving experiences, like family vacations, education, or other meaningful investments that will enrich their lives and create lasting memories. These smaller, thoughtful gifts can be just as impactful without the unintended consequences. Another great option is charitable giving. Instead of dividing your wealth among your children, you might consider donating part of it to causes or charities that are meaningful to your family. This not only leaves a legacy, but also shows your children the importance of giving back, teaching them the value of generosity over material wealth. Now that we've explored alternatives to premature inheritance, there's one crucial element that can make all the difference in how your legacy is received. It's something you might have overlooked, but it's vital for ensuring your wishes are respected. Stay with us as we reveal how one simple action can prevent misunderstandings and protect your family's harmony for generations. Have you ever tried to discuss your plans for inheritance with your children, only to find that the conversation becomes uncomfortable or awkward? It's something many families struggle with, but it's essential. Open communication about inheritance can make all the difference in ensuring that your wishes are respected and that your family remains united. In a time when emotions run high, especially surrounding money, how can we ensure that the conversations we have today don't lead to misunderstandings or hard feelings in the future? You've worked hard for what you have, and naturally, you want to leave a legacy for your loved ones. But it's not just about the wealth, it's about the values and intentions behind it. By having open, honest conversations with your children about what you want for them, you ensure that everyone is on the same page. It's important to ask yourself, have I clearly communicated my wishes? Have I set expectations? Sometimes we assume that our children know what we want, but often they don't. They may not be aware of the reasons behind your decisions or how to carry out your wishes. And this gap in understanding can lead to confusion, conflict, and unnecessary stress after you're gone. Imagine this. You've decided to leave a portion of your estate to charity and a portion to your children. You might feel like your children will understand, but what if they don't? What if one child feels slighted, thinking they should have received more? It's these kinds of situations that can create division. Setting clear expectations and talking through the reasons behind your decisions can prevent resentment from building up. It's about explaining why certain choices are made, why some gifts are smaller, or why some wealth is being left for future generations. This can be especially important when there are multiple children involved or when family dynamics are complicated. Transparency builds trust. It shows your children that you have thoughtfully considered their futures and want them to understand your decisions. By sharing your plans openly, you help eliminate the what-ifs that often lead to confusion or disagreements. Wouldn't it be comforting to know that your family understands your wishes, even after you're no longer around? These conversations might be tough now, but they can save your loved ones from the heartache and confusion later. As we come to the end of this journey, it's important to reflect on what we've learned. We've explored how giving away wealth prematurely can affect not just your children, but also your own financial security, emotional well-being, and family dynamics. We've also discussed thoughtful alternatives, such as creating a trust, teaching financial responsibility, and having open conversations that can help you leave a legacy that truly reflects your values. So what can you do today? The key is to start planning. Start thinking about how you want to pass on your legacy. This isn't just about money. It's about creating a lasting impact on your family, guiding them to live with purpose and responsibility. You don't have to have everything figured out today, but starting the conversation, seeking professional advice, and putting your intentions into writing will make all the difference. Imagine how powerful it would be to leave behind more than just material wealth. What if you could leave a legacy of wisdom, love, and clear guidance for your family? One that strengthens your family bonds rather than dividing them. A meaningful legacy is built on trust, clarity, and thoughtful decisions. It's not just about the money. It's about passing on the lessons, values, and experiences that will guide your children for years to come. The wealth you leave behind can be a blessing, but only if it's handled with care, consideration, and love. Take a moment to think about your legacy. What are the values you want to pass down? And how will you ensure that your family understands and respects your wishes? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to subscribe for more insights on how to live a life of purpose and legacy.